Hi there, my name's Mike, and in this short video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use our branching logic to create custom quiz, personality test, polls, and other experiences for your users. Now, branching logic lets you ask different questions based on the previous response. So each user gets a different response or a different quiz experience. So we're going to use this branching logic poll example I've created around a professional sports team who might want to ask their audience, hey, did you go to the game? Let's vote for the player of the game. So in a quiz or in a riddle, once you've created all of your content, you'll want to click on our branching logic step. Now the branching logic step, this is where the magic happens and you can start setting up logic to govern which questions people see. So the first 6 blocks or so, you'll see it's a very linear experience. I'm asking the same questions to everybody. Who was your player of the game? How well did the team do? However, when we get down to block number 8, is did you watch the game at the stadium? And the logic is using what we call answer logic. So we have several different types of logic, and it depends on which type of block you're using. Now in this case, this is answer logic. And I'm going to say, okay, if they answered yes, I want to show them this block, and I've picked a block for it. If they answer no, then I want to show them a different block. So you can use the answers to govern what people see. So it makes sense because did you go to the game? And if they answer yes, we want to ask more questions about the game day experience. Like, hey, how was it? How was the food? How was the drink, etc. If they answered no, it would make no sense to show them those questions because they didn't go to the game. So you'll see here, it's like, okay, if they answer yes, we're going to have some more questions. If they answer no, we're saying, okay, let's just collect your email address to stay up to date with our team's announcements. Thank you for voting. Okay, more branching logic. We're going to keep going down. The next branch is around a reaction poll, which is our slider. It basically catches people's opinions. In this case, how would you rate the match experience? And if it's a positive, you'll see here, I'm using block score as our logic type. It's about the number of points the user has selected. So I'm using a slider here, and it's like, okay, if it's -3 to -1, I am going to send them down this negative path, and I'm going to ask some questions about, what could we do better? If they had a positive experience, I'm going to ask them a different question. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you had a great time, but still, what can we do better? So that's more of a contextual difference. There's some additional options here if you switch to a quiz. Now, this is a Los Angeles Rams trivia quiz, but the principle still holds true. So in this case, we're using single choice blocks. I'm going to use answer block logic and saying, okay, in this case, if they've answered Boston, Chicago, or New York as being Cleveland's or the LA Rams' first home, I'm going to show them this question, so this block. If they got it right, I'm going to show them a different block. So I'm going to start taking people down different paths. And you'll also see here, this is just another type of logic. We have what we call a total score logic. And this is saying, okay, up to this point, if a user has less than 80% or fewer points, I'm going to say they're not doing great. And so I'm going to take them down this branch. However, if they've done really well and had 81% or more, I'm going to unlock a question. So I've included a different block saying, hey, you've unlocked the bonus question. Here's a new question. Here's a chance to get some more points. So these are great ways you can use logic to unlock questions or also repeat questions in case users need some additional time or resources to understand the topic you're talking about. These are also a really good way to filter. So maybe the first questions or two are, let me just get a sense of how much this user knows. If you're asking questions around cybersecurity and the first couple of questions they're getting wrong, you could show them a more beginner-oriented cybersecurity experience where someone who knows what they're doing, you're like, okay, let's go into advanced material. So it's a great way to filter and segment your quiz audience. Okay, navigation and copying and moving blocks and things like that. So you'll notice up here in the top right corner, this block has actually not been used in the logic. And that's okay. You don't have to use all your blocks. But if you don't, this block will never appear to the users. So if you want to apply it, you just drag and drop it over. So you can see here now it has actually been added, or I can say I'm going to delete this and move it again. Another choice you can do is say, well, what if I want to copy blocks and use them in multiple places? So in this case, I'm going to copy this single choice block. Now over here, we give you some nice shortcuts on how to remember this. I'm using a Mac, so I'm going to hold down Command and move this block over here. Oh, and then it's added here. You can also, if I delete this from the logic, so I can move it or delete it. You can also copy not just the one block, but all the other blocks below it, because that'll save you a lot of time. So in this case, I'm going to hold Command down, Shift and Command, and drag not just the question 7, but also the field below it, which is the email. So that's how you can basically move things around with your quiz. You have an undo option, you have a redo option, and of course, if you don't like the logic at all, you can click reset and that'll start everything over. So that's our branching logic, really powerful, and it extends on all of our formats, from personality test to our quiz, our poll, and our survey. All right, as always, if you have any questions about using branching logic with Riddle, please use our support chat. We love helping out and look forward to hearing from you. All right, thanks so much and happy riddling.